There are three types of fasting that every believer must know. Very, very important. Number one, we have what we call dry fasting. Number two, we have what we call wet fasting. And number three, we have what we call the Daniel fasting. The dry fasting is when you are fasting and you are not eating anything, neither drinking anything. You are not eating anything at all, and you are not drinking anything at all. That is what we call dry fasting. We have what we call wet fasting. Wet fasting is where you can drink water, you can drink other things like milk and whatever, but you don't eat anything. That is what we call wet fasting. Those wet fasting is for baby Christian. It's not for those ones that are matured. And we have what we call the Daniel fasting. The Daniel fasting, I think it's in the book of Daniel chapter 3 or chapter 10, if I'm not mistaken. The Daniel fasting is where you only eat fruits, vegetables, but you don't eat things like porridge, macaroni and whatever. You only eat fruits and vegetables. Yeah, in that kind of fasting. So the most powerful fasting between dry fasting, wet fasting, and the Daniel fasting, the most powerful one is the dry one, because the dry fasting, there you are not eating anything and you are not drinking anything. So you are forcing your spirit to submit to your you are forcing your flesh to submit to your spirit. Hallelujah. So you must, if you want spiritual growth, if you want things to work out, if you want to get tremendous results, you must try dry fasting. Don't do wet fasting. Don't do the fasting of Daniel. Wet fasting is for people that are baby Christian. The fasting of Daniel is for those that are fasting for many days, like maybe 100 days, and they don't want to collapse or die or something like that, or maybe 21 days. That one they can do the Daniel fasting, whereby they are not eating anything apart from fruits and vegetables. So the most powerful fasting among those three is the dry fasting. Three types of fasting. Let me recap. Number one, dry fasting. Number two, wet fasting. And number three, Daniel fasting. Shalom.